believe we are live. Why am I hearing myself? Let's see what we got here. Okay, that might be better. That might be a little better. Once I get my first thumbs up in the chat, and I know we're good to go, then I can go ahead and get started with this purge of the BS, because we're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it today. Pause. Yes, sir. Hold on a second here. Let me copy some things. Let's get some things going. If you just joining the stream, man, just hit the thumbs up in the chat so I know that y'all can hear me. Then once that happens, then we can get into our purge of the BS. So let's see what we got here. I got some things to cover today. We're going to be talking about Matt Gaetz. We're going to talk about Chinky Chink Uyghur from the Young Turks folks. We're going to talk about Denzel. Yeah, Denzel getting some shout outs today. And not in a negative way. We're going to celebrate the Christmas season together. You and I, whoever's on the damn, on the live, whoever's on it. Whoever's there. Oh, I see Zora join the chat. Happy holidays to you. So you can hear me and you can hear the whole situation, huh? Okay. All right. Well, then I guess that means that it is about time to get into the goodness. So hold on just a moment here. I must, for anybody who's just getting here, I got to give you all the disclaimer about this channel so that people understand, what they're here for. This is the purge of the BS. So BS is going to get purged. It just is what it is. It doesn't have a racial divide or a socio-economic divide or none of that. What it is the divide between not BS and BS, okay? So, as you all know, disclaimer time.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without prejudice. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
Okay. I hope y'all ready. Christmas Eve, baby. We make sure my stream is strong because we're going to come through today. Purge all the BS. Get it out before you open up your presents. That's how I feel, man. If you're in the chat, make sure you realize this is a subscribers only chat. We ain't talking if you ain't subscribing, man. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Purge of the BS. Merry Christmas Eve to everybody that's joining right now. I'm giving y'all a hot second to get in here because I don't like repeating myself. I just want to say it once and get it up out. It's the Purge. You only get one chance at it. That's why I do it live. All right. Well, Merry Christmas Eve to y'all. All right, guys. Well, this is what we got today. I'm going to get things started here because it is the reason for the season. We all know it's the holiday season. There's been a lot going on, and I'm hoping that you're with your families. And if you're right here with me on Purge of the BS, make sure that you are hitting that like button. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you jump in the chat. Let me know how you feeling on Christmas, man. How's it going? How was the year? You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. Now, speaking of people having a decent year, man, I have to give some props to somebody who's honestly been, let me see here. Hold on a second. Yeah, honestly, somebody who's been in the, I guess you would say the spotlight for years. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a gentleman by the name of Denzel Washington. Perhaps you are. Okay, well, Denzel Washington recently became a minister here. Hold on, let me stretch this out for you. So Denzel Washington became a minister of ministry, I guess. You know, like I said, I don't know exactly what's going on yet, but it just happened. And he said that he admitted that you just can't talk about religion in the industry of acting. Now, recently there was a lot of upheaval about the role in Gladiator, and it was more like, was the character he was playing a real person in the time period of the Gladiator? Because he was black, so it was like confusing to them. I guess, you know, there were some people that forget that we existed a long time ago. So they definitely put Denzel. Where's the daggone article at? Oh, come on, man. This is not what I was looking for, man. Hold on a second. Oh, now I'm having trouble. See, now they're telling me I've reached. You know what? Forget it. We'll talk about the headline then, and then I'm gonna get into what I came here for in the first place. But basically, Denzel Washington, as some of y'all know, has been in acting for years, and I know a lot of people were very not necessarily touched, but basically upset by the fact that he got his first Oscar after a lot of really great movies because of his character in Training Day. And his character in Training Day was pretty dirty, right? But he damn sure played the hell out of that role. I ain't gonna lie. To this day, they're still playing clips of his Training Day role. You know what I'm saying? To this day. So let me see here. Denzel Preacher. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up here. Denzel Washington Ministry. Let's see what we got here. This is the same one. All right. So basically, he received his ministry license this week. And he's taking on a new role. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would show up to watch Denzel preach a little bit. Just being honest. Like, Denzel sounds like, you know, just from the stuff he said before and things I've seen him do, I'd show up for that. That sounds like that'd be a pretty good message. He's definitely got some information. What is this loading up over here? Stop. No advertisement. No. You don't get that free press. Sorry. But no, I'm serious. I would show up for a Denzel sermon. Like, y'all give me a thumbs up in the chat if you would show up for a Denzel sermon. At least once. Just see what he's talking about. I know I would. I don't know about nobody else. Denzel, actually, I respect Denzel. I was going to use another term to say it, but I respect Denzel a lot. And I think if he's willing to step out on a limb with becoming a minister at this point, considering how Hollywood is weird as hell, and he's probably seen a lot of things we don't even want to talk about, and he probably needs to cleanse his spirit for real, like from even just being witness to certain things. You can't forget certain things. You watch things enough times, you cannot just forget them. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It'll be a situation where it's like you'll be laying down, and then you get these flashbacks of whatever that situation was, and that's really like what plagues you and haunts you as you go forward. So for Denzel, I don't know what the man's seen, but I can imagine in all these years in Hollywood, even if he wasn't necessarily directly involved in anything, he's heard some things, he's seen some things, he's probably been propositioned because, you know, he's attractive to men and women. So I'm sure that some of those people in the industry may have, on both sides, you see what I'm saying? Denzel done seen some things, so I'm with it. If Denzel gonna come in there and do some ministry, I'm all about that. I would love to see what he does with that. So give me 1 second here. 1 second here. Hold on. And like I said, if you're in the chat, make sure you throw me a thumbs up. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm wishing y'all a Merry Christmas. Now, if you don't celebrate Christmas, okay, that's fine too. But if you do celebrate Christmas or you're okay with people that do, Merry Christmas to you. All right? So if I'm coming to you on the shorts feed, make sure that if you want to hit that like button, you got to hit the little 3 dots in the top corner on this side over here. You got to hit the 3 dots and then hit the like button, okay? Now, before I get into my next piece here, hold on a second. Hold on. And make sure you're hitting the reactions too, man. Make sure you're hitting the reactions. We got to make sure we're doing that. Because I know sometimes we get all into the content and the conversation and we forget that the algorithm is expecting certain activities. So we let the algorithm do what it does. But let me get a little further into it. But before I get there, if you're just getting in, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we get into it a little bit around here. It can get a little serious sometimes. And I want to bring in my next story here, okay? So I'm hoping you guys are ready for it. Let me make sure my setup is right here. Let's see what we got. All right, let's go with this. This will do. So there's this guy, right, that is, let's see, he's on this side, right? This guy, Cenk Uygur. He's from the Young Turks, okay? And, you know, I wasn't into the political thing. I wasn't. But because it became such a big talking point, I had to investigate. I had to find out, like, what's really going on? What are people really talking about? This guy, Cenk Uygur. And I think I'm pronouncing it right. It might not be, but who cares? I'm not a big fan of this dude. He has been crying on Piers Morgan. And I mean, this guy's just, he's a lot. He's a lot. He's overly emotional, in my opinion. And then he can be overly offensive at times. Like, he gets real emotional. And so he takes these personal attacks and he be telling people to shut up. He just, I don't really like the guy. But in light of what's been going on lately, there was this, the Turning Point America Fest, right? And they did a few interviews. This guy, Charlie Kirk, which is on the other side, and Cenk Uygur, they did a little kind of a, I guess, an on-stage interview. And I'm not a big Charlie Kirk fan. I think he's all right. You know, he goes out there, he does his thing, he makes his little points, and he, you know, he stands on his business. So I got to respect that. But to see these two guys talking, because they kind of sit on the opposite sides of things, it was actually a really great conversation. And I think because of the reason for the season, we need some unity, right? Especially after what happened in this most recent election. I think that unity is a really big thing. And having these conversations and discussions is how we're really going to move into the future. America's not one-sided. It's a melting pot, right? And in order for that pot to cook well, everything has to be mixed in just right. So I want y'all to just take a moment, because like I said, I'm feeling thankful, because this guy that I really don't like came out here and he was talking some real stuff. And this is, I'll be honest with you, just like the first time ever that I'm like, all right, for this Cenk Uygur guy, I don't like this dude. You have to see him on some other stuff. This will definitely paint him in a much better light, unless you're one of those phone's ringing. If you can hear that, don't worry about it. But yeah, if you can hear what he's talking about, make sure you let me know in the chat, all right?
McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win. Now, what we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise. We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's. And the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys. What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject. When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing. Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney?
Don't wrap yourself around Dick, is what he's saying.
22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with original YouTubers. One of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side, and I've got Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side, it was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm. They do not do news. They do propaganda.
Now, like I said, I'm not a big fan of this guy, but he's making a really good point about how things went left on the left and where he sits in the middle and trying to have the conversation. And I got to respect it, man. I didn't think that there would be the olive branch extensions from so many different people at this point, because these folks, a lot of them, like this guy was really, he was a forget anybody that was not Democrat. He was like, you must be sick. You should be, burned at the stake. I'm not saying he really said that, but that's how he was coming across. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's at this conference, which is a conservative conference, and they booked him knowing that he's normally on the opposite side of things. So it was kind of refreshing to hear a conversation that seems more unifying than divisive right now. And because this is the holidays, we got to pay respect to that. Now, why this thing is only playing in one side, I can't, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Mainstream media, you think is against you. You think they're against the right wing. But they also hate Bernie Sanders. And they also hate me. And they also hate the populists on the left. What mainstream media really loves is the establishment and the elites. They're against all of us combined. And if we dare unite on issues we agree on, they will be livid, and it'll be a beautiful day in America.
You hear that? He said, if we dare unite on the issues that we actually agree on and come up against all of the goofiness that they're doing in there, that's where the real change will happen. So I'm feeling you on this one, Cenk. We'll beef again next week, sir. But for right now, we cool. We cool. I appreciate it, because he's been, you got to understand, these folks have an outlet. People watch this guy. I don't so much, because like I said, he just be overly emotional about everything, be sweating and everything. It's just a lot. But just being honest, this dude Cenk gets on my damn nerves. So I had to swallow my pride just to even give him 5 minutes to talk. And I said, let me see what the hell this man talking about. Because every time I listen to him talk, I get frustrated. This is the first time in my life that I can listen to him and be like, you know what? I like what this guy is saying. I like where he's coming from. He's not being overly dumb emotional about it. He's stating his point, and his point is we need to come together on the issues that we agree on. Just like what happened in that most recent bill. But we ain't going to talk about that because everybody still think Elon Musk is going to shut the government down. But we're not going to get into that.
That is correct. I mean, you were kicked off of some of the cable news channels for having heterodox opinions on certain issues. So let's kind of look at the last couple of years. We can go back to the Bernie Sanders thing. Explain to us, why is it that right-wing revolution was successful, and the Bernie Sanders with 2 attempts actually won the primary in 2016, and he had it stolen. Again, stolen election talk can be a little controversial. They stole it from Bernie Sanders in 2016. Why was that revolution not successful?
Yeah, I think it was because Donald Trump was a celebrity and they didn't take him seriously. So they made the mistake of giving him mainstream media coverage. And so they thought, and if you remember, Bill Clinton had this brilliant idea, we'll encourage Donald Trump to run on the Republican side and he'll destroy the Republican Party. How'd that work out for you, Bill?
And
so
he's taking shots at Bill Clinton. So
no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because what I sensed was you need a non-politician to lead the revolt. So, because all the politicians, and right now they're having a conversation on the Democratic side about 2028, and the only people they mention are politicians. And my answer to that is hell no. Okay? Because the politicians are used to the corruption. They grew up in the corruption. They like the corruption. They got their power through the corruption.
He's
so
also
I don't
right.
want that. I don't need that. And so when Trump came on, they gave him coverage. And here's when look, some people think that things changed after the election. No, I've been saying this from day one. Right. And so back in 2016, actually 2015, after I think it was the second debate, when Trump was on stage and he said, I gave all these guys money and they did exactly what I wanted. At that point, everyone on earth, certainly in establishment and mainstream media, says he has no chance of winning, none. I went on the Young Turks and I said, he's going to win the Republican primary, okay? Because people hate corruption and they know it in their bones, okay?
Okay, well then, why you been on that side arguing about the whole thing the whole time then, Chinky Chank? You've been yelling for like 8 years, man. Now all of a sudden he didn't calm down. He's trying to be reasonable. I don't know, man. I don't know. Somebody must have gave him a good talking to, because he is as calm as I ever seen him. This is strong Jay.
You know, is Trump really not corrupt? Is Trump really going to do the things that he promised? Is he really a populist? I would love to prove me wrong. I would love that, okay? And like, my God, if Trump got money out of politics, one thing we're known for is credit where credit is due, okay? I would give him all the credit in the world. We're not there yet. We're not close to there yet. So when we get into the issues, hey, how about, and remember, guys, you also have donors. Beware of the donors. Don't forget that, and don't let your guard down.
Beware of the donors. That's the ones. The Elon Musk's, like I said.
We have got to elect a populist. If we don't, we're going to make the same mistake we made when they anointed Hillary Clinton, when they anointed Joe Biden, and when they anointed Kamala Harris. So my Democratic friends, how many times are you going to lose before you realize that mainstream media and the establishment are lying to you?
And so is that energy?
All right, let me pause that, because he's talking about how many times you're going to lose before you realize that the mainstream media and so on and so forth is really run by the establishment. Well, Mr. Chink Uyghur, let's not forget you are part of the mainstream media, sir. So you exposing the people that you work for. You're exposing a problem that you contributed to, honestly. And that's why I didn't like what he was doing. He was overly, like, it's almost like somebody paid him to be overly upset about certain things. And so all of a sudden, now he's like reasonable. And like I said, I'll give credit where credit is due, but you throwing it off like you weren't part of that problem. Like you not owning your piece of it. And I think that's where I'm having an issue with it. I like what he's saying, but I don't like the fact that he's kind of like putting it over here like he wasn't a major part and a major force of mainstream media at the time, especially for the last few years. So, okay. I mean, I'm gonna let you say your thing, but you ain't fooling me, bro. I don't know who gave you a check or who came and talked to you and put a picture on the table and said, hey, go say what the hell we need you to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what happened, but I'm just going to say you're not owning your piece of it, though. But I like the point but you're not owning where you sat in that melee that got created. But it's good that I guess if you're a creator of the melee, and you step outside of it, that's good.
Forefront in the Democrat Party right now, and I'm not saying this facetiously, read us into what the power brokers of the Democrat Party are saying. Are they saying we need to run more to the middle, that we need to embrace more populism? We're hearing some of the names, but what is the vibe of the people that do this for a living?
Yeah, so I can tell you definitively that the Democratic leadership and the Democratic establishment will never voluntarily go in a new direction. They will never voluntarily accept populism. They are built on donor money.
See,
They are of the
you hear
donors,
all
by
this
the donors,
they?
for the donors.
Let me just pause that. You hear all this they are. No, you were. So what, are you not Democrat no more? Like, is that what he's saying? Because he's here with the Republican folks? He keeps using they, like you aren't part of that. I hate when people do that. Like all of a sudden now you over here talking and you're not taking no accountability personally for the fact that you were a major part of that. It's they this and they that. No, we were and I was part of that kind of thing. Take some ownership, chinky chank. Take some of that ownership, bro. I'm here screaming for the past 8 damn years.
To understand is that they're never going to give you what you want incrementally. Martin Luther King talked about the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Oh, if we just go a little further with Joe Biden, he'll give us another crumble and another tiny increment. No, they're going to just pick a new and improved corporate robot like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and they're going to come out with a new script. And they're going to say, I am now a populist, and they will wear flannel shirts, and they'll go to bar ribs, and then they'll sneak out and go to French Laundry, right? So don't believe the corporate robots. Remember how many times they lied to you. We need to do a populist revolt and pick a populist left-winger so we can have a real contest in this country. The establishment Democrats are never going to win. We need to go populist, and the way to do that is not by negotiating with them. It's by defeating them in a primary.
Is the Democrat grassroots, are they invigorated towards that end? Because it seemed as if they weren't obviously thrilled about Biden or Kamala Harris. But you could say whatever you want about Bernie Sanders. I have massive worldview disagreements. He had a legitimate grassroots movement behind him of small dollar donors, of people that were working, of activists. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that has
PJ Bell, thanks for stopping in the chat. Appreciate you.
And what would it take to awaken that?
And you are correct. He a whole different dude, ain't he?
The Democratic Party and the left, but the two most important ones are the populist.
What is wrong with my monitor?
Bernie Sanders.
I hope it's not glitching out for y'all, because it's glitching out for me. It's cutting on and off for some reason.
But then there's the establishment wing. So the populist wing is already there. That base that was there in 2016 and 2020 still exists. And remember, guys, and I say this to you and I say it to the left wing, Bernie won the first 3 states in 2020. He was this close to winning until Obama and Clyburn called in all the candidates.
Right.
I always have tech issues. It's like this going joke with me and the
mainstream media then said Joe Biden is the greatest, and they started talking about how Bernie Sanders, the most successful Jewish candidate in American history, had followers who were brown shirts and fascists and Nazis. Where have you heard that before? So whenever it's an outsider, all of a sudden mainstream media says fascist, even if it's a Jewish candidate, right? So they use the same tricks. And you guys have been canceled. I've been canceled. They do the same thing to both of us over and over again. So the left-wing populists are ready, but we do need some more votes from people who used to be in the establishment Democratic camp. And why were they in that camp? Because they love corruption, they love war, they love change? No, guys. They were in that camp because mainstream media lied to them. And mainstream media told them,
But you mainstream media, bro. It's frustrating me. He is really externalizing this. And I was trying to give the man props initially for having the discussion with Charlie Kirk, because it is a discussion that needed to be had. But this whole externalizing thing, tell me how they got you on the ticket. Tell me how much they paid you to say what you had to say. Tell me how you got in trouble if you didn't fit the narrative. Like, let's keep it real, bro. Let's keep it 100% real. You are not going to come on here and act like you was over here somewhere and everybody else but you. You was the loudest damn voice on it. You was on Piers Morgan. You was on Fox News. You was on MSNBC. You was on ABC. You was everywhere. Popping up everywhere talking about they. Nah, bro, you. So let's be real. I want to know how you got there, and how, if you feel that way about the views from a certain side, there's nothing wrong with standing on it. But when when somebody else win and then you want to come over here on another side acting like you wasn't the loudest voice on the first part. You see what I'm saying? What's the term they call grifter? Isn't that the term? It's a grifter. Yeah, he's a grifter now. He's officially a damn grifter. Like I said, I started with the respect of him having the conversation because I hadn't really seen the whole convo yet. I just saw a couple of moments of it, and I said, oh, this is awesome. Thanks, PJ Bell. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Appreciate the positive feedback. Because I'll be wondering if I'm the only person that sees the BS. That's why I got to purge it on the internet, because I could be just yelling at myself in the room and, people just think I'm crazy, but appreciate y'all for stopping in. So nonetheless, let me get back to the point here. I don't like Chink, and I like the fact that he wanted to have the conversation, but I need to know what his role really was. He needs to be telling me, look, they paid me X amount of dollars to say YZ to these people and push this narrative for da-da-da-da-da-da-da before you can separate yourself from what was done. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to separate yourself from it. Now, if you just want to own it and say, hey, that's how I felt, that's how it is, I don't care what y'all say, because he could have came out there like that. That's what I would have expected, was he would have been like, look, I don't care if y'all won or not. This is what I stand on. This is where I'm at with it. We could have done better in the election, but I don't care. I hate the dude. I hate Trump. You see what I'm saying? He could have came out there and just stayed his ground. This fool has been on some I hate Trump stuff for like 30 years, if there was a thing for that. Hold on a second. My monitor keeps going out. It's because there's bullshit on my monitor, and my monitor has a bullshit alert on it. And it's going out. Shoot. Stay there. Stay. I'm hoping that's not glitching too bad for y'all, but it's messing up for me. So anyway, I'm going to give him about 2 more minutes of my time, because now I'm getting frustrated, because he ain't yet to say that he has any ownership of any of it. And you're right, PJ Bell. He's only on there because ain't nobody watching him no more. So now he's trying to go somewhere else. We said the word. He's a grifter. He is officially a grifter. You're officially a grifter, Mr. Chink Uger. I hope I don't see you no more. You're pissing me off now. Because, like I said, I'll respect you more if you just stand on what you stand on, and it just is what it is. But if you don't stand on it, then I don't respect you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. That might just be me. What is going on with this monitor? I don't know what is going on with this monitor right now. But if y'all can see it, then I'm good. Whatever it's doing over here. I don't know what is going on. Bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second. I got to figure out what's going on. I'm sorry, folks. Now I got it. Come on, monitor. Not right now. I'm having fun with the people. Jeez. I'm sorry, guys, if this is bouncing around right now. This sucks because that means the shorts are going to be messed up. So, anyway, I'm going to give this guy... Oh, you're right, PJ Bell. Now everybody backing out. Like I said, I have more respect for you if you just stand on it. If you feel a certain type of way and that's how you really feel, then you just feel that way. But if you're going to tell me, oh, they're saying this to y'all, they're saying that they're doing this, but you the one that was you were the mouthpiece, bro. And will come out to me like, oh, I was impartial. Remember, I like Bernie Sanders, and man, no. You was crying on Piers Morgan. You was crying, and I saw it. He was crying on Piers Morgan. He's a fascist. I don't know what we're gonna do if you elect him. The country's gonna. Man, he was crying on Piers Morgan. You understand what I'm saying? Sweat everywhere. Looked like a stuck pig out there. Now he's over here, they this and they that. Okay. All right. He's with some they them shit, basically. and not with the reality of the fact that he was right in the mix, right in the front line with a fist pumping. You understand what I'm saying? No justice, no peace. He was on that shit. All right, hold on. Let me make sure that this works.
Oh, Bernie can't win. Bernie
Let me let y'all get another 2 minutes of this before I get overly frustrated. I have blood pressure issues, so I can't do this sometimes.
We can't win, but they're wrong. They're lying. So what I need Democrats to understand is stop believing in Morning Joe and The View and all the garbage on TV.
And you.
So that's a really good point about the media ecosystem.
Everybody, hold up. Did he just name all the anchors but him? Like all the shows but his show? Come on, bro. You bluffing, man.
Yeah,
You's a
27
bluff.
million subscribers, 30 billion views. I think it's fair to say.
No, I'm not saying that sarcastically. I don't know of anyone that comes close. However, do you think there's a robust alternative media
Hold up, did he
ecosystem
just
on the left
flex how many
that is comparable to
subscribers and
what's built
stuff
on the
he
right? I
had?
can say confidently what we have on the right
don't even
is
care
pretty
anymore.
impressive. We have from podcasting to videos. We don't rely on cable television. Who here listens to podcasts or social media for all your news? Raise your hand. I mean, every single
Yeah,
hand goes
who
up.
here? Put a
So,
thumbs
do you
up if
think
you're
the
here
left
for the
has some work
alternative
to do
media. We
in
dig up
developing
in there.
over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks.
Yeah, so we have QRT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT. That's in the left-wing ecosystem. So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing, okay? So you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what I'm realizing. And my boy Brix said this to me before. The right will hold somebody accountable. If Trump don't do something, they will put him out to the stake. You understand what I'm saying? I understand people like, oh, MAGA just loves him. MAGA just loves him. Let him screw something up. They will be up in his ass like a wedgie. That's the part I respect about it. It's like, even if they, like, we're going to get to in a minute with the Matt Gaetz thing. Matt Gaetz was dirty. I knew he was because I told you the man looked like the Joker, and all I saw was villain when I saw him. So when it came out, I said, told you, and I didn't even have to look at the report. But we're going to get to that in a moment. The point I'm trying to make is holding your Congress people and so on and so forth accountable is what Trump and them are running on. You know, when he says some stuff like, look, I'm going to do this in 30 days, or you'll see. Guess what would happen if he don't do it in the 30 days? People going to be on his ass. And he don't want people on his ass. People been on his ass. So the accountability piece is major for me. So with Chink throwing everything off and acting like he wasn't part of the shit, one of the main parts of it, talking about there's good shows over here. Okay, then why are you not talking about your show? See, there we go with the damn monitor again. Why is he not talking about his show as a problem, so to speak? You see what I'm saying? Totally trying to get his situation together because people are leaving his shit. Don't nobody want to hear that craziness with you crying all over the place no more. Now you everywhere but where you supposed to be on your own show. You on Piers Morgan. You on all of this other stuff. Like I said, we don't have to agree on everything, PJ Bell, but we can agree that Chink is a damn grifter. And I like the fact that the conversation is being had. I'm hoping that, just like me personally, that everybody who voted for Trump holds their elected officials accountable. I'm about that. I don't care who it is. I hold my friends accountable, my parents, whoever. We accountable for living here amongst each other and doing the right thing. So whether you're in a high office or whatever, if you're on that goofy, I'm not gonna be nice. Now, don't get it wrong. There are some people that are just die hard on either side. There's some MAGA folks. Trump could shoot somebody in the face in the middle of Walmart, and they would be like, they would literally not care. So there's a certain group of people on both sides that just don't care what's really going on. They just on this side, they go hard on that side, and to a degree, I gotta respect that too, which is what I'm saying about Chink. If he would have just die hard on that side and just be on the conversation with Charlie Kirk and then going back and forth about where they disagree on ideas, that's one thing. But it seems like he's more or less just trying to pander off to say, hey, I'm still cool, guys. Come and watch my show too. I'm up for objective conversation now. I guess he done dehydrated himself with crying all the time. And that's it. It's not about who you vote for particularly. Everybody should expect their elected officials to do things for the betterment of the people. That's why that whole thing goes together, where we elect certain folks so that we don't have millions of people trying to say their piece in some type of hearing. We elect a person to go down there to represent us in a grand sense. So when that person is running, they run on these certain concepts that we as the voting public identify with, and that's how we pick who we running with, or that's how it should be. Now, there's some people that don't care if it lines up with their morals or what they're trying to do. Just, this is the party I'm part of. Like, just even if I don't like what they're talking about, I'm voting this way because this is, they got me over here. I think that that's just dumb as hell. Let me just start that. I don't give a damn what party you part of. If you start talking some goofy shit, I'm not with it. It's as simple as that. Okay, really? And it's very simple. It's very simple. You got to be 100% on what it is that you understand and stand on. You don't just do it because it's popular, because everybody's in the party. Well, they're all doing it, so I'm going to do it. But if you don't really feel like that, then that's disingenuous. Then you become a grifter, where you can't stand on your side, because the second your side is the losing side, now you want to go jump over here. That's all I'm saying. They want to jump. Chink Uger going to jump over. Like I said, I'm going to finish this out with this Chink Uger thing, because I got to get to this other piece, okay? I got to get to the other piece, because that's what they came for. That's what was in the thumbnail. I know that's what SEO is looking for. So, but I had to cover this piece because I want to have the conversations. We all have to be open to discuss without all the overly emotional crying and shit that Chink likes to do. And that's true. It is about America first. It ain't about who started the party. Nobody asked me when the party started. They didn't invite me to the beginning and the inauguration of nothing. I've never been indoctrinated into any freaking party. Actually, you understand what I'm saying? Like, nobody's ever come to me and said, oh, we now bless you as part of this. No. So don't expect my vote on either side. You talk some shit I like, you got my vote. You talk some shit I don't like, you do not have my vote. You see how that works? It's so simple. It's so simple. The concept is simple to me. I don't know what all this party shit is. That was dumb. I don't know why they did that. I guess it was for money. Like, there was a monetary piece of it. So let me give him another, what is it? I'm not giving him 25 minutes. I'm sorry, but I'll give him 2 more minutes of chinkiness, okay? And hopefully I won't get too frustrated, because see, every time I let him start talking, my monitor goes out. I told you, my monitor has this bullshit detector on it, and if I'm playing bullshit on it, it'll cut out on me because it doesn't want me to see it and poison my brain with it. So, like I said in a previous podcast, to anybody that's wondering about my affiliation, similar to PJ Bell, I'm what's known as an Indepublicrat. I am none of those. I'm all of them, and I'm whoever the hell is talking about what's best for me, my family, and the folks that I really care about. Simple as that. I'm not getting into all the other stuff. I know they insider trading down there. I know they doing dirty stuff down there, but they still have a job to do for the rest of us too. So we're going to hold them accountable for that. First and foremost, then we can get into the dirty shit. That's what's about to happen. They about to get there. That's what that whole situation was with the government shutdown. They showed all this other stuff. We wasn't even thinking about that. We just thinking, why wouldn't Trump want to pay the people that work for the government? He's crazy. He's trying to shut the whole government down before he even gets there. Then all of a sudden you realize that wasn't even really the setup. That wasn't even really what was going on. It was a whole different thing going on. It was other expenses they was throwing in there. They were trying to send $1 billion to somebody else that we didn't know about. All of a sudden that came out and, oh, okay, all right. But nonetheless, let's give Chink his last 2 minutes of my time, because he is definitely, for lack of a, he seems like a turncoat right now. And like I said, I respect him having a conversation, but I just don't like him not saying, hey, I was the main proponent on TYT like this. Him and Anna Kasparian. And no, the president, like I said, President Musk, the visible, like fruition or whatever, the visible, I got to say this right, because people will get me wrong when I say there's no such thing as President Musk. Elon Musk is a billionaire who does business in America, who has money invested in American government so that he can get certain subsidies to do the shit he does with SpaceX. Elon Musk is no different than any of the other billionaires that have connections to Trump or any of the other government officials. The only difference is he's visible on X because he's all on the tweets and shit like that. But he is the same entity that already runs the government. So appreciate the fact that he's a little bit transparent and we see him making these moves. I see him doing that where he's about to get this money on a defense bill. I see what you're doing, Elon. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I see it. So I'm not upset per se, because he's right out on the front with it. I see what Elon is doing. It's the rest of them billionaires and companies and energy companies and oil companies and all types of different companies that operate within and without the United States, who we don't know nothing about, that invest billions in our government, to have them make certain decisions on regulations and all types of stuff we don't hear nothing about. And we're wondering, why are they sending $1 billion for infrastructure over to India? Because they're building a bunch of technology stops over there, so that they can make, semiconductors and have people get paid at a smaller amount and then ship the shit back to the US. But we don't hear nothing about none of that. We don't hear nothing about that. But these are the same billionaires like Elon that invest in that. So you know what? Elon Musk, even though, yeah, we could call it President Musk, but President Musk is just a symbol of what's already going on. The only difference is we could see it. So appreciate the visibility. Don't be upset about it. Say, oh, that's what the hell y'all doing? So when y'all don't like something, you just call your little friends? Yes, that's exactly what happens. Now, in this case, people kind of agreed with what was going on, so it made sense. But let's say they would have brought up the defense spending bill, which would have directly affected Elon Musk's pockets. He might have had a different opinion on how much pork funding was in that, right? But that's what they all do. It's just Elon's ass can't stay out the limelight. So let's let his ass stay visible so we can see him. We don't want them to hide no more. No, come on out. Come on out. We can see right where you at. Come on out. Come on out. They're going to cut all types of stuff. That's what I was saying. The whole debt ceiling thing, they would talk about cuts. That's what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are coming in there to do, is to cut out a bunch of crap. And then people are going to be basically confused by that first. And then while we're watching all that and everybody's flipping out, they're going to be pulling some bullshit in another country. They're going to be pulling a whole bunch of stuff right up under your noses in 1,500-page bills that are getting passed with executive orders. There's going to be all types of stuff we don't see. So I hope Elon is transparent with everything like he was with that. You know how they say keep that same energy? Let's keep that same energy when we talk about the defense bills and your subsidies, sir. Let's keep that same energy on X. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep that same energy when we're talking about the like PJ Bell said, like the next round of tax cuts. Let's keep that same energy and letting the American people know what's really good. Don't just do it on this one because you just wanted to show off real quick with the fact that you could move information that fast. Because it was impressive, to be honest with you, to see that in real time. That was pretty impressive. But let's just keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Speaking of keeping that same energy, hold on, I'm sorry, I still got that other thing up. But speaking of keeping that same energy, let me get to my main story, okay? My main story today is a pretty interesting one. I don't know if you guys know who Matt Gaetz is, but Matt Gaetz was up for positioning in the Trump administration. And you know, you got to get like congressionally approved for stuff like that. And so he gets ready to go through Congress, and they decide to release like the Matt Gaetz probe. Hey, thanks for stopping in the chat, Maria Ali. PJ Bell, thanks for staying in the chat. Thanks for having the conversation with me. I appreciate it. But so Matt Gaetz basically was, what was he supposed to be? I don't know what the hell he was supposed to be. But I'm going to tell y'all, anybody who's just coming into my live, I've always had an issue with, Maria. So I'm not going to go back to the Musk thing, but the point is we already know what this guy's up to. So he just needs to keep that same energy, or we will castrate him in the public as well. No one is free from the smoke here on the Purge the BS. Elon Musk, we watching your ass. Don't get it twisted. I might give you props for what that was because it was something not directly related, but don't think I'm not watching y'all and we're not paying attention, or we're all paying attention. Alternative media is paying attention. We watching y'all. You better do what you said, and you better do it right, because if not, you'll go down too, just like Diddy and the rest of them when they done with them. Because that's what happens. Once they done with you, time to go. And that's what happened to Matt Gaetz. So we're going to talk about his little ethics probe into his situation. And they just call me Haze, PJ Bell. That's just Haze, H-A-Z-E. Papa Purge on TikTok. Is that TikTok? No, that's X. Papa Purge on X. Because I be on X, but it's mostly just Elon talking shit on X right now. So it'll change. It's mostly Elon talking shit, though. So because I'm watching it, I got to pay attention to what he's talking about. But back to our main story here. And thank you guys for the new subscribes, too. Really appreciate that. I really do. We're trying to grow the channel, trying to monetize, trying to really get into it. But it's really all about the discussions. It's really all about the discussions. That's it. If we can all talk and see all information in front of us, then rational minds will always prevail. Because in my opinion, there's more rational minds. There's more people that can think objectively and come to a good decision than there are ignorant folks that are just stupid. And maybe that's just my hope for the populace because it's the holiday season. But I just feel like there's more than enough people that have sense in this world. So as long as we have enough people with sense, we can have sensible conversations. So let me give you guys just kind of my backstory here on Matt Gaetz, right? I'm just going to be honest. And I'm probably talking to the empaths out there, right? The few of them that exist. Sometimes you just get a feeling about somebody, like you see them and you're like, I don't know about this guy. And you don't know anything about him, but you just get that, it be right in your, like in your stomach a little bit. And you're kind of like, I don't know what it is about this guy, but he just makes me uneasy. Like, watch this one, watch him, because he might, if you're not paying attention, he might get caught up in some stuff. Well, Matt Gaetz was, hey, thanks for tuning in too, Maria Ali. For real. For real. You're not killing my flow. We're flowing together. This is just conversation we have. So Matt Gaetz, to me, always looked like Jack Nicholson's version of the Joker. And because of the time when that movie came out, when the Batman movie came out, I was obviously not as old as I am now. I was a lot younger. And as a villain, the Joker's like the epitome of villains, right? No superpowers, just destructive as hell, and no sympathy for nobody. But he's also in this weird way kind of diplomatic in a way. But he puts people in awkward positions all the time. And he's just a really good villain. So when I saw this guy, Matt Gaetz, so many years ago, I saw the Joker, Jack Nicholson style. The guy that fell into a vat of chemicals and had to get his face all picked back up and his eyebrows looked weird. And so I've never liked the guy. So when they came out with this bombshell report, I'm just going to say I wasn't surprised. But the bombshell report has been in existence for way more than the last 30 days or 60 days or whatever since he's been considered for this cabinet position with Trump. And we're going to get into that in a second. But I'm going to let these folks talk their stuff about this situation with Gaetz so that y'all can at least get their little, you know, the uppity tie-wearing version of the story instead of me just saying, that nigga nasty. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and play this thing for you.
I'm wondering what your takeaway is from this report. It's obviously been long anticipated. Is it about what we had expected? Is it worse? Is it better? And what does this mean for Gaetz' potential political future, if he even has one?
It's worse because it's real. When you think it versus when you know it, that's the whole piece. Now we know it. For those who support transparency in government, this is a win for them, but it's definitely not a win for Matt Gaetz, who Donald Trump did not vet for the office of, to be in a cabinet position, to be the head of the Department of Justice.
Right,
I mean, you have someone—
I got to stop it right there. She just made the point. She said Donald Trump did not vet this man for the purposes of being in the cabinet. So we're going to come back to that later because you have to wonder whose recommendation was he really. But we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that.
Who has a report from his colleagues in Congress showing what he did. And this is the man that could have been the head of the Justice Department. This is scathing for Matt Gaetz.
Stephanie, I want to ask you, since you and Gaetz overlapped a bit in Congress, it seems he didn't have a lot of friends there, even on his side of the aisle. Are you surprised this report was released, and what are you expecting the reaction to be?
Members of Congress to the highest standards of conduct. And unlike other committees, this committee is one that is evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. And so the fact that this committee voted to make the report public means that there were Republicans who voted with Democrats to issue this report. So this was quite a bipartisan effort to ensure that there was some transparency. And I think, you know, the American people would deserve to know that no one in elected office is above the law or
bullshit
beyond accountability.
Nobody in elected office is above the law. Okay, we're going to get back to that too. We're going to get back to that too. But like I said, PJ, you got to remember, you got to listen to what they said. They said he wasn't properly vetted by President Trump. That means somebody came to Trump and said, get this guy. And that person is most likely someone who's already in Congress, knowing that Matt Gaetz had this report that was sitting on the shelf somewhere that was going to definitely come out if they tried to get him appointed to a cabinet position. But we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that. Y'all be thinking this shit is random, man.
Charlie, you know, you're a Republican. You used to chair the Ethics Committee. I'm looking at it now. This is a heck of an investigation. It says the committee authorized 29 subpoenas for documents and testimony, reviewed nearly 14,000 documents, and collected more than 24 witnesses. What is your read of this situation and why the committee decided to release this report even after Gaetz resigned from Congress?
Well, first, let me say the Ethics Committee staff is nonpartisan. They're very professional. I'm not surprised by the figures you just quoted. They released this because there has been precedent
make sure
for releasing reports after members of Congress have resigned, particularly in matters of sexual misconduct, which is obviously the case here. There was a case in, I think it was in 1990, Lukens of Ohio. He had allegedly sex with a 16-year-old. A report was released after he resigned from Congress. I believe that was the seat John Boehner then was elected to shortly thereafter.
Now, hold on a second now, PJ. I'm going to be honest. Some of them people, because there's like 200, there's a lot of cabinet positions that we haven't, I don't even know some of the people that that have been named. If you look at the whole list, some of them are going to get through just fine. Some of them are already in Congress, but there's a few of them that kind of bubble up to the top in visibility, and Matt Gaetz was one of them. From day one, I knew something wasn't right about this guy. Now, I don't know about everyone else, but I will say, if they want to dig in your ass and make sure you don't get past, they will dig in your ass and make sure you don't get past. So whoever he picks, if it's like this, they're not making it. They already don't want his folks in there. So if there's some, man, this thing was already sitting on the table. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because y'all think this was Trump's friend. That's what you think. Nah, bro. Watch what I tell you. Watch the flip.
Also, Mark Foley, the committee took actions after he had sent inappropriate text messages to House pages. And there have been other issues. So I'm not surprised that they released this report, and particularly because he was being considered to become the top law enforcement official of the United States. And as I read this report, and it seemed at least one, I haven't read the report yet, but I read an analysis by one news outlet that seemed to have had the report prior to its release.
Hey, Maria, keep
this
tuning in.
really
We
damning.
have a conversation.
What I was
ain't no beef
to
here.
know was the committee going to
We all
recommend an
together in this
expulsion?
shit they doing to us.
Because, there's sex, drugs, money. The committee is saying that supposedly that Gaetz may have violated Florida state law. So I'm wondering if the committee actually referred this matter to the Florida Attorney General for further
did
review.
they even say something to the Florida
so
Attorney General?
Matt
Yeah,
Gaetz has
there's a lot
suggested
here.
or
Let's
implied that he might
there.
be sworn in January. I don't think that's going to happen now because should he get sworn in, I suspect it would be an immediate motion to expel him.
Empathy not needed. You can just,
top line,
everybody could tell, right?
Discussing. I'm looking at the count here, and it says, in some, the committee found substantial evidence of the following, and among that, it also talks about Representative Gaetz accepted gifts, including transportation and lodging in connection with a 2018 trip to the Bahamas in excess of permissible amounts. We want to go now to NBC News correspondent Ryan Nobles, who's been waiting for this all morning. All right, Ryan, now that it's out, what are we learning and what are the big
listen
takeaways?
to Ryan. He about to spill the beans on him. Watch this.
Well, Christina, I think the most damning accusation by the House Ethics Committee is that they believe that they found substantial evidence that Matt Gaetz is guilty of statutory rape, that he engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl who at the time testified before the committee that she had just finished her junior year of high school. This was during a party in 2017 where this girl testified to the committee. She's now a woman. But
hold on a second. Did you hear them just say that? In 2017, she testified. 2017. You catching that, right? In 2017, it was already done. It's already been dealt with by the Congress folks, and they just let it sit there till they was done with his ass. And here we go. Let's release it to the public. Man.
Testified to the committee at the time that she and Gaetz had sex on 2 different occasions at this party. They also had that testimony backed up by the testimony of other witnesses who were at this party at the same time. In fact, one of the engagements between this then girl and Gaetz happened in public view where other people could see it.
In public view.
And so this, they believe, is.
Hold on a second. They saying he had sex with an underage girl in public view. That means people were witnesses to it and had nothing to do or say about it. But continue.
In violation of Florida law in particular, and they believe that Florida authorities should investigate this even further to determine whether or not he is indeed guilty of statutory rape. The other kind of lengthy bit of evidence that the committee has collected over time is this pattern of what they would accuse Matt Gaetz of paying for sex. They list some $90,000 in transactions among 12 different women, which they use messaging apps and cash apps, Venmo, things along those lines to connect the dots.
Hold up, on a pool table? Man, I think I just threw up a little in the back of my throat. I'm just going to pause it for a second because it's a lot for me, right? Because they're telling me about this probe that's been going on for what? 7 years now? 7 years. But this happened 7 years ago. And you're right, Maria. I remember this being said back then that the dude was dirty. So why now? Why now? Why now? Why did they let it come out now? Now remember my first question, my first point was Trump and Matt Gaetz, because I started doing some research on that. They're not known for like being friends or being around each other. So the Matt Gaetz appointment was a recommendation by someone. It's not my first time hearing about it. No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, why now? Right? Why now? And don't get the surface one of, well, because it's Trump's people. No. Why did they recommend him from within, knowing that he had that going on? You know why? Because they wanted his ass out of there. And so whoever recommended him to Trump knew the second he recommended him, this probe was going to have to come out, and there's no way he gets past, and he loses his whole situation. He's out of Congress. He's not just out of that next job. They held that shit over his head for 7 years and said, "Wow, big joker, get up out of here," because they couldn't get him out of there no other way. So they said, the second we release this, we know he can't get past. The public's going to scathe him, and he got to go, and he'll step down and get his pension or whatever the hell they get. And you're right, his friend had gone to jail, and everybody's thinking, oh, his friend was the one. No, it was him. He did that. He's dirty. You could tell from his eyebrows, man. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm just saying, you could tell. The man has the look of just, something ain't right every time you seen him. And for some reason, a bunch of people, or at least we thought a bunch of people liked him. They didn't like him. They didn't like him. Because they were all in there for the last however many years with that same report. They could have dropped that thing at any time and got rid of him. But because the public opinion wouldn't have done what it could do now because they already hate Trump, they just let it sit till they was done with him. He's trashed now. They trashed his ass. They trashed his ass. And that's what they're going to do with everybody that they already had. Because if you hold it for too long, then you become an accomplice. So you got to drop the bombshells. Like, oh, hey, we didn't know. We didn't know. Yeah, that's what they're doing right now. Everybody is trying to distance themselves away from the bullshit because they don't know which direction things are going to come from. Donald Trump is one person. He's got his own like things going on in his head, right? But what they don't understand is there's this other brown dude named Kash Patel. That's who they need to be worried about. Watch Kash Patel, because he's going to be in there trying to fuck shit up. Excuse my language, but that's what he's going to try to do. Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk will not have an actual government position. They'll be consultants. But that Kash Patel guy and that Tom Homan guy and those folks and the Tulsi Gabbards, all of that's who you need to be paying attention to. Forget Elon Musk. Forget all of that. Matt Gaetz, they wanted his ass out and they couldn't wait to pull that thing out. Pause. They couldn't wait to drop that thing on him. People did not like him because if they did, they would have kept it private. It was already private. They had to vote to make it public. And they got Republicans in there that voted to make it public. So that means they wanted his ass up out of there. But they want us to think, oh, this scathing report. Like he just did this shit yesterday. No, he did shit 7-8 years ago. There's testimony. There's a friend. Somebody done gone to jail. So why hasn't the American people, or haven't the American people been upset about Matt Gaetz? Because we didn't really have all of that information. But most importantly, the people in Congress who now have denied him, and now he's decided to step down from whatever it was he was doing, they knew it the whole time. So I'm really pissed at them. You just let him sit in a seat knowing he was as dirty as they come. He did that. He did that. You got people saying, yo, he was on the pool table with the chick. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to talk that one down when you got witnesses there. He can say all he wants about, I didn't know how old she was, but bro, you got to be careful out here. You might have to check ID. And honestly, as a man, it's your responsibility to do so. If you're a man, especially a grown-ass man, and you are about to partake in festivities with a young woman, and she looks a little young, and you ain't never met her before, and you're not even sure how she got in the club or wherever the hell she came from, you may want to check ID. And then secondarily, you might not want to do it to her on the pool table in front of everybody. Like, that's just a bit much. Like, come on, man. What are we shooting? Freaking OnlyFans over here? Like, come on, man. All right, well, we're going to see what Kash Patel does. Like I said, I don't really know much about the dude, but he would have came for Gaetz too. I feel like they got rid of Gaetz early because they knew that was coming. You can't just sit on stuff like this and have these people wanting to be in cabinet positions and they're having sex with 17-year-olds and all that. But I'm going to be honest, Matt Gaetz is not the only one in the Congress area and all that. They got charges. and misappropriations of funds and tricking off women and bringing them in and out from different states and countries. And Matt Gaetz was just partying it up. Now, there's a little bit more to it, so I'm going to let y'all hear this last piece. He said it was a house. Yeah, wherever it was. But none of this stuff happens by accident. Random 17-year-old girls don't just walk up on a mansion party. They're selected. They're selected. Somebody goes out, picks them. Either that or they're on a website somewhere being trafficked. I hate to say it, but that's the only two ways that somebody's young-ass kid ends up at the party with the Congress people. He probably is in the Diddy tapes. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. He sounds like he would have had a good time at a Diddy party, don't he?
Between Gaetz' sexual activity and these women, and then also the testimony from the women where they claimed that they believed that the activity that they were engaged in was the result of these payments from Gaetz. In particular, there was a 2018 trip to the Bahamas where Gaetz and 4 different women went to the Bahamas. He engaged in sex with all these women. One of the women testified to the committee that she believed the trip to the Bahamas was payment for the sex that she was providing. Another witness, one of the women, said that they saw Gaetz taking ecstasy on that trip. This was all while he was a member of Congress. Now, it's important to point out, Christina, that Gaetz has repeatedly and continues to deny any allegations that he had sex with anyone who was underage. He has admitted to womanizing, as he's described it. He's admitted to smoking and drinking to excess during this period of his life. But this morning on his own X account, like I said, he is rebutting these claims specifically about paying for sex.
All right. Hold on. I have to take a moment. This slippery slope of the whole flying people out and then they have sex and then that's against the laws or the rules. It's like this. On the basic surface, that's bullshit. Because, like I said in the previous podcast, if that's the case, then technically I trafficked my wife when we lived in separate places. Now, we never had the conversation about when she came into town, what was going to happen, but we knew what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a transactional situation, but there was a transaction and then there were some things that happened. So if it's as simple as that, and this guy is saying that the women were under the impression that the cost or the payback of the trip was the sex, then it sounds, for all intents and purposes, it sounds kind of consensual. And I don't want to dig into all of that. The underage girl, we can have that conversation because that's something that, like, there's not a lot of gray area there other than the fact that he was irresponsible and didn't check for her ID. So if she was that age, sorry guys, my monitor keeps going in and out. But if she was that age and he did what they say he did, then yeah, he deserves to be scrutinized, not castrated, but castrated in the public. Well, no, what I'm saying, PJ, is at the time, she was not my wife. We were dating, then she became my fiance, then she became my wife. But before she was my wife, I was still flying her and I was traveling. So I guess she trafficked me too. We trafficked each other. It's as simple as that. Yeah, me and the wife trafficked each other. So I guess they'll come and get me in a few years about that. But that's what I'm saying. It's just a slippery slope to say, hey, if you come out to the Bahamas, you know we getting it in, right? And then the girl says, yeah. And then you get it in. You know what I'm saying? It's not abnormal. And that's why I think that's a bad case to push, because there's too much gray area. It's a lot of wasted resources. Now, somebody says that they were at an event that they came to differently and somebody took them in a room and sexually assaulted them and, you know, held them against their will and things like that, or spiked all their drinks and all that kind of stuff. This is all consenting adults this guy was talking about. They flying out to the Bahamas. Gaetz called it 4 women. He was going to party. He had drugs and he went to party. and they partied with them. So I think that's a dumb case. They might as well just leave that alone. But if you focus on the 17-year-old girl thing, that's the dirt. Well, like I said, PJ, I'm being sarcastic about it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I'm just being sarcastic about it. I'm sorry. Let me get the camera right. Now I'm foggy. Come on, camera. So anyway, I don't know why all of a sudden my camera's decided to be foggy. Maybe I need more light. This is stupid. There we go. Clear it up. All right. So here's where I'm gonna wrap this all up, because I got some stuff to do today, and I'm gonna bring this back in because, like I said, me and my wife, that was, like I said, that was a joke, but based on the, I guess you would say, the evidence that they're presenting, unless they go into some other situations. Now, I don't know how they set up the girls to go to the party. I don't know who was the pimp, or how the whole process went. So I can't speak on the Matt Gaetz thing. I'm just talking in the general sense. It's been every week or so, I'm hearing about somebody getting in trouble or being investigated for flying people in and people having sex. And there's just, it's too much where most people, and I'm just saying from what I see on social media, a lot of the women on social media are like, they promote, hey, I'm flying out to this place or that place. So it seems like it's like a fun thing, and maybe it turns into something else. But I just think if you're dealing with adults, there needs to be more, I don't know, there just needs to be more meat on it. Pause. But it just needs to be a little more meat on it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's just, it's too, Matt Gaetz was doing ecstasy, coke, and having sex with 4 women in the Bahamas. That did happen. So if you're accepting of that, regardless of who was trafficked and who was not, but if you're accepting of the fact that Matt Gaetz was in the Bahamas having sex with 4 women, doing ecstasy and other drugs and drinking and coke and such, if you're cool with that, forget a criminal charge. But if you're cool with that, you're cool with Gaetz, and you don't have to worry about nothing else. But if you're not cool with that, and you're not cool with Gaetz, simple as that. They want to go into these probes and all that. No, we know what he did. Now, if y'all want to go charge him with something, they're not going to put him in jail for it, other than a 17-year-old thing. They figured that thing out. They should have been figured it out. And that was the point of the whole podcast today, was when they done with you, they done with you. They've been sitting on that shit for 7 years, man. You got to be out your mind. And we just sitting around. Now we're outraged because he went and had a foursome. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's about the conversation. Because me personally, this just came across my timeline. And my main issue was, I just always had an issue with this guy. And most importantly was, why did they wait till now to release it publicly? That's my questions in this. It's not about sitting around for every single detail. Like I said, we know that Matt Gaetz was in the Bahamas with 4 women, and they were doing drugs and stuff. I don't have to wait for a lot of additional details for that. You know what I'm saying? So I can deal with the surface here. And the surface here is they had the report, they had the testimony 7 years ago. So why now? And the answer that I feel is that somebody who was already in there wanted him gone, and they knew the second he got recommended, they were going to have this situation and he would be ousted. And they got rid of him real slick. Everything they're doing right now, they're trying to be real slick with it. They've been wanting Matt Gaetz gone. They just couldn't figure out the right way to do it. And they wanted this report to come out. And because he was getting cleared for a cabinet position, they got to make this decision. And they got his ass. So no more Gaetz. Gaetz closed. Gaetz closed. You see what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. It's how I feel. I feel that somebody was already waiting for his ass and they wanted to get rid of him. And the second when Trump took office, the Republicans or whomever was already there said, let's put this guy up because we know he'll never make it. And we know he's going to have to get up out of here. And they didn't like him anyway. They just play like they be liking him. They don't all be messing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Why now is because they couldn't lose anybody at the time. But they didn't like his ass. That's what I'm saying. They just waited till, okay, we can now get rid of his ass. And they got rid of him. Smooth like. And now the American public and the media is going to blame Trump for even appointing him, considering how dirty he was. But I'm thinking, well, what about everybody else that sat around and saw the same evidence for 7 years and didn't say nothing? They all dirty to me. That's dirty. They dirty. And I'm cool with them being dirty, I guess, because they're like visibly dirty. I can see the dirt. It's not like I can get rid of it, but at least I can see it. Matt Gaetz is dirty. There's going to be a lot of dirtiness for the next couple of years. Hopefully, like I said, Elon keeps that energy and keeps things transparent about everything, not just the stuff that he don't like. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like I said, they all knew about it. That's my whole point. Everybody knew about all that. Because she had a fake ID. That's how he wasn't charged. That's cool. You see what I'm saying? That's also cool. I get that from a legal standpoint. But it doesn't mean he didn't have sex with the 17-year-old girl on the table. It doesn't mean he didn't go to the Bahamas with the 4 women and doing ecstasy, coke, and all that. So, if you're cool with those things, sans the legal. You understand what I'm saying? Sans the charges, just the activities themselves. If you're cool with that, then you cool with that. Whether or not they bring charges doesn't change a lot of the stuff that people do. You're like, okay, well, you got found not guilty, but you still killed the guy. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm okay with whatever that was, then what will happen is I must be willing to accept those activities. So for Matt Gaetz, I don't care if he's charged with anything. They knew what he did. They knew he did it. Yeah, she had a fake ID. Great. Okay. Still doesn't change that he did these things. It just changes, I guess, the legal standpoint of what the consequences could be. But it doesn't change the fact that he's a little dirty, likes him young, obviously, right? Likes him young. And that's always dangerous. Grown man, you can't be liking him, but so young, bro. She couldn't even buy alcohol. You understand? Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know. I've never interacted with people with that much, that much younger than me once I was grown. Like, I just, being honest, they look like kids to me. So, I guess if you put on enough makeup and push-up bras and the right outfits, maybe you could go somewhere and look old enough, but he like them young. So, oh, there you go. Maria. So he had a friend print the fake IDs. And see, that was just so he knew he could use that as a legal defense later, that they had the fake IDs. So yeah, the dude's dirty. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, is he should have been gone. So why they let him sit in there just so they could have their little slim majority? It makes the whole thing dirty. The whole thing is dirty, man. I don't know, man. It's not a new story to me, but I'm thinking, why are they acting like it's a new story? When y'all sat on it for all this time and had people in, some of the public thinking that, oh, it wasn't a big deal, or, oh, this girl lied about this or whatever. Maybe she lied about her age, so to speak. But if he got her a fake ID, then he already knew that she didn't have the right numbers for what he should have been playing with. Exactly. He's a lawyer. He was setting up a legal defense. And he's dirty. He's dirty, guys. And I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed it took so long for them to get rid of his ass. How much more time do we have to waste with this? We're expecting people to go govern some shit, right? When we send them to Washington, we want them to go govern some shit. Go make some decisions about infrastructure and, tax cuts and so on and so forth. I don't necessarily want them doing foursomes in the Bahamas, sniffing coke and doing ecstasy. I'm sorry. I mean, if that's the kind of person you are, if that's what you want your elected officials to do, have at it. But that's not what we're supposed to be supporting. So the whole Congress supported that by not bringing it out and getting rid of his ass 7 years ago when the whole thing was first brought up. And then this whole time they just sat back. They were like, yo, the second we done with this guy, he gotta fucking go. And he's gone. Done. Done. So I hope y'all didn't like Matt Gaetz, because the next time you see him, he's going to be in freaking Alaska somewhere, or he's going to be out in Korea hanging with Kanye, because this report is out. Just came out, I don't want to say yesterday, but the actual visible report is out. And it is going to be a problem, because even in the comments, I'm going to show y'all the comments right here. See if y'all can see these comments. Hold on a second. Let me move it over a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, these comments, they're basically saying what we're saying. Why are they questioning his future political career and not asking why he isn't in jail? Don't forgive all those who protected and enabled him, like we were just saying. Trump knew about this before nominating Gaetz, no doubt. He wants to fill the government with people who share his values. And this is, oh, I love this one. I wish they would stop saying nobody is above the law, because these guys never go to jail. That's a hell of a point. A special shout out to Florida. I love Florida. Love Florida. But I'm trying to tell you, this is a lot of people who are just basically, they're not, I don't know if these folks in these comments are Democrats or Republicans. But a lot of people are pretty much tired of this shit. I don't know any other way to say it. I don't know any other way to say it, man. They're tired of it. PJ, don't worry about it. Florida's all right, man. Florida's fine. Don't let them say nothing wrong about Florida. Florida is okay. Sometimes too much sunshine makes people act crazy. Okay? And that's the honest truth. Sometimes too much sunshine can be too much. Because I've seen some crazy things when I'm in Florida. I've definitely seen some crazy news stories, and you're like, what? People do that? But that's no different than New York City, where they're setting people on fire in the middle of the subway. So let's not talk about Florida, okay? I'd rather be around the possibility of, well, not, alligators ain't really fun either. Uh-oh. Oh, you about to, see, before I get out of here, because Maria brought it up, and I wanted to talk about this with my boy Brix the other day, but we had a technical issue, so I couldn't go live. Trump has already started to talk back his points about grocery prices. And I am very upset about that. And I'll tell you why. Because I love bacon. And when he was on the campaign trail, he did somebody's damn podcast or interview or something, right? And he brought up the price of bacon. And I was like, you know what? I haven't heard anybody mention the price of bacon yet. So when he said that, I brought it up on a previous episode and people thought it was funny. So because of that, somebody sent me the story of the fact that he's rolling it back. So apparently Trump is starting to walk back his vow to bring down the grocery prices. So they picked a good picture for that one. So Donald Trump loved to talk about groceries and, oh, it's not going to let me get this whole story. So screw it, because I'm not paying y'all for, well, I got to pay to read shit. You ever check that out? Why would I need to pay to read stuff? Let me just read it. Like, I go on Google all day and I read stuff, but the second I go in the Rolling Stone or the Washington Post, you want me to pay you $2 to read one story. The hell would I do that? But anyway, so basically, he is not going to be able to really bring down grocery prices, at least not right away. Maybe he can do something with energy prices with that whole drill baby drill thing. But just to be 100% honest with you, you might know that a lot of our oil reserves come from Canada, not, Arab countries. They say that to us. But Arab countries, they make the poppy seed. That's where heroin comes from. They make the heroin. We know that. So they make the heroin. So well, Maria, you weren't wrong when you said that people did vote because of groceries. Because some people don't hear all information. Some people just hear one piece and they're like, all right, I can roll with that. And then they run with that. So I forgot whose interview it was that he did where he mentioned the bacon thing. But I knew that would ring with certain American folks because we love our bacon. I love bacon. And when he came out and said bacon is too damn expensive, I said, huh, what'd you say? Then when he came out and talked about crypto, other people were like, huh, what'd you say? So it's literally, he just did. And you're right, PJ, 50% of the oil is coming from Canada, which is goofy to me because for the last however many years, they've been trying to tell us about oil in Iraq and shit. Why are we worrying about Iraq if most of it's coming from right over the northern border? Screw Iraq. Let's get some more from Canada. Or it's some in Texas where they got plenty of it. You know why? Because they signed agreements saying we got to buy from you so y'all can make money off of us. That's what America's been doing for years, and that's what the problem is. So it doesn't make sense to me to be on some, issues about bacon and all of that when I realize it's just the problem is we outsourcing shit. We outsourcing shit. We outsourcing the jobs. We're outsourcing the oil. We're outsourcing our technology. We're outsourcing everything. And then when we get it back, we got to pay more for it. How you going to put a tariff on a person that's basically the business is saving money, right? By doing the work in another country. And then when they ship the good back over, we pay the tariff. How the business getting hit if we're the ones paying the tariff, right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. And no, Trump directly can't reduce the price of grocery or the price of energy directly, but those prices are based on trade agreements. You got to deal with the trade agreements. If they're unfair or if the U.S. is paying too much for certain shit, whatever it is, you got to deal with the trade agreements. I understand that. I know I'm not going to have a seat at the table, so let's just hope for the best on that shit. But I will say gas went down recently. So I don't know if that's because it's Christmas and they're trying to be nice or if they're just trying to crap in my face to show that they can drop the price 40 cents in 2 days and then hike it back up 60 cents. Who knows? I don't know. But I do know gas price done came down in the last couple of days out of nowhere. It was like $1 more almost a week ago. So I don't know, but I got some stuff I got to do today. So I do have to get off of here because I do have some more shopping to do for the holiday. But anybody that joined in, especially PJ, Maria, for y'all coming in with the conversation, I do appreciate it. Anybody who recently, all the new subscribers, Drizzen Douglas coming in, everybody that stopped in, man. Like I said, I just wanted to stop by, have a quick convo with the folks. And then I'll be back, not tomorrow because it's Christmas, spending that with the fam. But the day after, I'll be on with my boys. We're going to do a offset Purge the BS on a Thursday kind of thing. So I'm hoping you guys tune in. And make sure when you come back, bring a friend with you. We can have a conversation as long as they can type fast enough to keep up with what we doing. But in terms of what's going on in our current government situation, I hope you guys are just strapped in, pay attention, because the smart ones will always be able to survive even through chaos. but you have to be fully informed. So that's why we have alternative media. Let's not listen to Chink, Uyghur, or these guys. Chink done pissed me off. I might have to come back to that Chink thing once I look at some more stuff with him, because he's really ticked me off. Hey, Merry Christmas, PJ. Thanks for the like and the sub, everybody who came in. I appreciate y'all getting in here with me. Y'all enjoy your day, because if you don't enjoy your day, that's that bullshit.